Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, ranking member, members of the committee, I'm concerned that this problem, even if Dr. Moret-Eraso does do the honorable thing and the needed thing of stepping down, that this problem will perhaps perpetuate itself with the creation of a senior executive service position for the managing director. And so my question to you, Dr. Moret-Eraso, is did the Chemical Safety Board announce the creation of a senior executive service position as managing director?
Yes, we have that.
Was it announced just yesterday?
It was announced, yes.
Yesterday?
Yes, it was.
Dr. Eraso, numerous whistleblowers have stated that you fast-tracked the creation of this new SES position to make sure that Mr. Horowitz would be put in it before you left the Chemical Safety Board. Was this position created?
It's absolutely untrue.
For Daniel Horowitz?
It's absolutely untrue. This is, as a matter of fact, that's the reason why I have an outside consultant to come in to run the campaign, to open a...
So this position was put up on the board for review, and then we have a Mr. Horowitz changing his title to Senior Advisor to the Deepwater Horizon investigation, and he did that on March 2nd. Is that true?
He has that
He changed
position,
his title so he would, what, qualify for the position?
The position is open for anybody that wants I mean, the system of the Office of Personnel Management is that you open a position in the federal government for anybody to apply.
So let me understand the sequence of attack here. Draconian policies can be furthered by creating an SES position as managing director. Position is posted up on the board for anyone, as you state, to apply, and magically, Mr. Horowitz changes his title so he somehow positions himself, and now it is your intention to hire him for this position. Is that about right?
The position of managing director has always existed at different times in the organization.
But this one is a new position. Is that correct? For managing director.
The managing director has existed since September 2011.
And so now you are intending to what? Even after you retire, continue your toxic work environment, as it was stated in the survey?
What I intended to do is
position?
to open the position to be in the
How far does the roots
service.
go into this organization that you have to have a grip on it even after you would leave, whether honorably or dishonorably in 15 weeks, that you would continue to set everything in motion so that you keep your little web in control of something so vital to the country? Is that the intention, or do I have it wrong?
You have it wrong.
I see. Okay, and after listening to all of the testimony and answers given so far, we'll let the people of the United States be the judge there. Mr. Griffin, Mr. Engler, Mr. Ehrlich, given the lack of confidence in senior leadership that has been highlighted in the HR consulting report, I think back to when I was in the military. If I got a command climate survey as a commander of 1,000 soldiers, and it said that 80% of my soldiers thought I was incompetent to lead, and then it was followed up with a board and testimony, and then I would have to come back and show some type of gain, whether 3 months, 6 months later, or something of that nature, and yet the follow-on reports were even worse, and then I was called on the carpet before, I would be relieved of command. I mean, it would just absolutely, that would be the result. I would be relieved of command. Do you think that hiring Mr. Horowitz for an SES position is a good idea at this time, given the climate that the Command Safety Board has? Mr. Griffin, please.
I think, I think the evidence speaks for itself as far as the problems with management, and I think it should involve a careful assessment of whether he's the appropriate person to.
Do you believe that it ought to have more time other than just being posted and then titles being changed and then people being recommended and then we just go from there? Or do you think that this thing might ought to have some brakes put on it and get, one, do you even need it? We look at the Veterans Affairs Administration and see the problem that our senior executive services have created with the secretary. That's a whole different issue. But now we're going to make a construct potentially do that. Mr. Engler, do you think that it's appropriate at this time?
I think there needs to be a full, fair, an objective evaluation. I would, given how fast other things have happened, I would urge things go slower, but in accordance with federal statutory and regulatory personnel requirements. And if I could just add for the record, part of my briefing was very useful from the CSB staff, and I appreciate the CSB staff in updating me. But there were some notable exceptions to what was not included in my briefing that I think should have been. One was any reference to the Cardin report. Another was any detailed review of the Vantage report, which in fact I had to request a copy of to get, which I did get. But then when I requested to have a conversation with the contractor over the last couple of days, apparently because of the, I don't know how to characterize it, as a sort of a counterattack on this committee, that because there's a request to the IG, now it's something that I don't have access to. I mean, this is making due diligence for me very, very difficult. And it's just an incredibly challenging position to be in as someone who cares very, very deeply about the mission of the board, to have to encounter these obstacles in the first days of appearing here.
Well, my time has expired, and Mr. Chairman, I thank you for your patience, and I think I can speak for all of us that we are committed to try to help remove these obstacles. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.